Hey, I just finished Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan, and this is going to be spoilery from the very beginning because the ending, let's just talk about that first. The ending was bitterly unfair, and it hurt a lot. I don't really know what's going to happen because I feel like it wasn't an ending. It was just done, and there wasn't a conclusion. Everyone seemed to be happy, but then there's Leo, oh no, Gigia, with Philipson, like, yeah, we're going to leave. And that was it. And then what? What happens after that? Then used to be more. And then you had Jason and Piper's bit, and then they were just like, hey, yeah, we're just going to think about Leo a bit, and then just sit there. And no, they need to find Leo and be happy together, because it's not fair otherwise. Everyone else is happy, even Nico's happy. Nico is never happy. And then Nico's all like staying with Will Solace, and that's really good. And it's like, that's a good relationship. It's probably healthier than him and Percy. Let's be honest, Percy and Beth is the only couple anyone should ship. So, anyway, more detailed. That's not just the end. Let's talk about Jason, just for a second. Jason. He was so useful in this book, in comparison to, say, like the Mark of Athena, which I reread before this, because I was going to reread both House of Hades and Mark of Athena, ran out of time. So I finished Mark of Athena, and he's just unconscious all the time, and he's more useful in this one. I mean, like, him and Zeus killing poor Therion was great, and, like, he's, like, standing up to Zeus, and then Zeus is like, excuse you? Looking all down at him, really confused as to how. He just said, complimented Jason. Jason was like, actually, no, I disagree with you. Which was really good, because I was like, Zeus, you got scored by your son. You deserve that, bitch. But then Zeus is just like, I'll throw you to New York. That's fine. That was a bit weird. He just picks up the Argo too and just throws it all the way across the world from Athens, which is fine, you know. That's fine as long as they get there, and then it's all fighting Gaia. They vaporize Gaia. Leo's dead. Well, he wasn't dead, but he's dead for like half the ending. Which, by the way, was just particularly unfair, because why would you leave it like that with them thinking he's dead? That's not fair, because he's not. He couldn't be dead. They had the cure. But they don't have that. Well, they thought they had the cure, and then Leo actually had the cure. And I was just like, Hazel, you can't be doing that. Hazel, no, you can't do that. But she did it anyway. And Hazel was great in this. She's like, oh, look at me, I'm manipulating the mist. Everywhere. She was just manipulating everything all the time. And I was like, you got powerful, didn't you, somehow? That's not fair. You know, you're just not even a child of Hecate, and you're manipulating the mist left, right, and centre. Or I say she's presented from Marie, and she was magic, but oh, it was so good. And then there was the fight. Oh my god, so many giants killed on the way there. On the way there, it was really funny because they met Mama? I can't remember his name. And then they killed him, the anti-Hephaestus. They killed him with Phobos' help. And then they did Enceladus? No, Liberties. The Liberties with Kimopalaya, whatever her name is, Kim. They did that, and then Raina's like, oh, let me just take out Orion too. We'll do him too with Athena and Bellona, and they're just like, oh look, we'll help. No, Raina. That's what Raina. I'm not a fan of Raina. Everyone seems to be a really big fan of Raina. I haven't really understood it, but now I understand it because she is great. Because she was just like dealing with everything, and then her and Nico were such a good team. Then Hedge was there, and I was like, oh, whatever, where's Grover? And then Grover appeared, and I got Grover had a cameo, and I was like, oh my god, Grover appeared. And then they made loads of references to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, because they kept saying things like Zoe, and I was like, oh my god, Zoe, Titan's Curse, my favourite, and it's just her, that bit. And then there was Phoebe, and Phoebe was in Titan's Curse, just as like the character that was going to go on the quest, and then she died. And I was just like, so you were in it for how long? But you were mentioned so long ago, and now she's dead. That was quick. And Thalia was in it, and Thalia was in it, and then Thalia was gone. Thalia should have been like all the help, like more. Way more. Way more. Like, She appears like here, and she should have been in the back. But she, oh, do you like my cover? This is the UK version of the cover, and this is the only one out of the whole series I prefer to the American cover. I really like this cover. I prefer the American cover. Just saying. Well, I that was nice. Nice. Yeah. Who else can we talk about? Well, we can talk about Percival, because they're going to live happily ever after, and it's going to be amazing because Percival's forever. It has to happen. And then Percy was just like, oh, and then he was almost dying to the liberties again, and then it was just like, oh, Jason's like, yeah, I'm at the bottom of the sea with my air bubble, let me just help. See Jason being useful again. He's like, I'll just convince Kim to help. And she did. And then they're going to be happy. And then, oh, Kim was just like, yeah, I'll help. And then they killed the liberties. And that was so good. I know I just said that before, but it was just so good because Percy was being useless. So that's why I think Percy wasn't in it enough. I just feel like Percy wasn't in it enough. Because every other character had to have time as well. Because there were so many point of views, like Nico's, Raina's as well. On top of the 7, I was just like, ah. So I was like, oh, I don't really care. The 7's I want to know what Nico and Raina were doing. And then it skipped to the chapter. I was like, oh my god. And then there was the cliffhanger. One of Nico's first chapters. And then Nico was just, Raina's first chapter. And Raina just leaped towards Nico as he shadow travelled. And then it switches perspectives. And I was just sitting there so upset. Because I had no idea what I was going to do if Raina was left behind. Like, what was that going to do to us? Us readers, if Raina had just died then. I mean, I was convinced someone was going to die really early, and then Jason gets stabbed in the first 50 pages. And he almost dies then. I mean, he's literally dying up until they meet Kim. And then he convinces himself to be a good person, and it heals his soul as well. There's so many cameos from gods. There's so many gods in this book, like Nike as well. That was funny. Nike was funny, because Nike was insane. Let's be honest, Nike was completely bonkers the whole way. Then she kept at the end like, I'll help! And I was like, Nike, what are you doing? You need to pipe down. And then Hades spoke to Nico. That was what they're like, oh my god, Hades, you're here. Why are you here? You're never here. You're usually quite evil. You're usually not a great character. You're very morally ambiguous. I mean, you are the god of the underworld, so I expect moral ambiguity from you. But then he was there to help. And then Octavian. Oh yeah, because he makes that thing about Octavian and, well, not Octavian, but death and someone letting them happen, and then he just lets Octavian die. Nico does, and I'm just like, I think that's the only character death that was major. So internally, all the characters apart from Calypso think Leo is dead. So basically like 2 deaths, but Octavian died, and I was like, good riddance. Didn't like him. I felt sorry for him a little bit, but didn't like him. Oh my god. I think that son of Apollo, legacy of Apollo. Apollo and Artemis on the island, that was depressing. They were just so miserable, and I was just like, that's not fair. Just be happy. Be happy. I know you can't leave the island, but be happy. Be happy. They weren't happy. And then Leo helped him with the Valdesignator, and I was just like, Leo, you don't name it that, but okay, do it, because it's you and you do it anyway. And then Apollo was just like, yeah, I'll help. Yeah, eventually he'll help. And then Zeus is like, Apollo, you dick. And then just like kicks him back to Olympus. It's like, Apollo, no. And then Artemis needs to calm him down. Poor Zeus. Zeus was not having a good day. And I love the fact that Hecate was helping Hazel, because Hecate and Hazel are best friends. To my mind, they have to be. They are very good friends. And then it wasn't like that. Just like Hazel had 2 gods on her side. She had Hecate helping her, and then she had Hades just occasionally opening up the ground to kill them, kill the giants, and they were dying, and it was great. And I was like, oh Hazel, you powerful person, to have 2 gods in yours. As well as like Frank had his dad, and then Annabeth and Athena had each other. And then you had Percy and Poseidon, and then you had Zeus and Jason, and then you had Leo on the burning ship, which was like, oh my god, is he going to die now? Is this just going to happen? But he got off light. I feel like we as readers got off lightly on death, which makes me think it's not over, because there was something. The end, the last line. Let's read you the last line. Sorry, spoiler. The bronze dragon spread his wings and they soared into the unknown. What's the unknown? I need to know. There's something else there. There has to be. There has to be. And something else makes me think there's something else. Where is it? I have to make sure I got the right wording. Because the wording is important. Blah, 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 blah. Here it is. It's the thing that Ella says. Ella the harpy. She's just like there in one of Nico's dreams. And she says, the fall of the sun, the final verse. It's an unfinished prophecy that I want to know the rest of. I feel like there's more to that prophecy, and I don't know what it's going to do, but I feel like this isn't over. I mean, the dedication page kind of thing says, to my wonderful readers, sorry about that. Apology for the last cliffhanger. I'll try to avoid cliffhangers in this book, well, except for maybe a few small ones, because I love you guys. Cliffhangers aren't going to be resolved, so this is allegedly the last book. I don't think it is. I think something else is coming. There has to be something else. Leo has to meet them. What if Leo has been dead for hundreds of years? Leo speculates that he's been dead for hundreds of years and been on Ogygia for hundreds of years. What if he has been? He goes back and finds all the demigods dead that he knew. And then what do we do? What do we do if all of them are dead? And it's just like descendants of the children of the seven? Children. Grown-ups. Children of the seven. And they're just like there, and Leo's like, oh, you look like Percy, and you have great eyes. Are you the best child? Oh, and if that happens, I need to know what happens next. There has to be more. Quite simply, there has to be more. And hint to Magnus Chase, because, you know, Magnus Chase, Gods of Asgard, coming out next year. All the titles in the book, Sword of Summer, first book. So far, well, he could change it, but hopefully he won't. But Annabeth says that she has an uncle and a cousin who lives in Boston, and they don't talk. Her uncle and her dad don't talk. So, I think the cousin is Magnus. And the reason they don't talk is because God shit. That's what I think. This is more to talk about, but I know it's just me a babble of emotions, this video, which is completely fine, because this is what this book has done to me. It's left me traumatized, and I just don't know what to do with myself anymore. I'm just stuck, wanting to cry, but I haven't cried. I haven't cried at a book before, but I cheered up quite a few times, mainly references to Percy Jackson's series. I was like, oh no, don't say that. Then he did, and I was like, ugh. In the end, when Leo was like, gone because he had vaporized Gaia, and I was like, ah. It's when they started talking about, oh yeah, they destroyed the primordial god before, you know, Uranus, the sky. I was like, oh god, how are they going to kill Gaia like that? Because Gaia is Earth. The whole planet is Gaia. And then she's like, oh, we'll pick her up with Festus. I was like, okay, do that. And then he vaporized her, and then vaporized himself at the same time. I was like, oh no, don't do that. Change my mind, don't do that. Don't do it. But he did it anyway. I do not approve of your choices, Leo, but at least you're with Calypso now, and Calypso can finally get off Ogygia, which is about time, because the gods are dicks, and should have freed her anyway. What else? Who else is there? Piper! Oh my god, why haven't we talked about Piper yet? Piper! She is so good! I know, like, some people dislike Piper and Jason, and don't find Piper kind of useless. Piper is such a badass, like, seriously badass. She is so good at the talking. Obviously she does charm speak, but she's so good with it, and she uses it so well. And she's so smart, and her and Annabeth's friendship is just beautiful, because they have to be together as friends, because they make each other so much better in combat. They're just like on the same wavelength, and that is so reassuring to see. And then Jason and Percy have got this thing as well going on, where they finally get on the wavelength and they're not being complete dicks to each other, or slightly dicks to each other, and slight like, oh, you're in charge. No, I am. now they're both just like together as friends, and friendship prevailed, and oh my god, it was so worth it. Do you know who I felt could have died? Frank. Did Frank even have a perspective in this book? I feel like he didn't. We had Rain and Nico. Did we even have a Percy chapter? Oh my god, there was no Percy or Annabeth chapters either. Oh, I get it. It was only Piper, Leo, Jason, Nico, and Raina. I think. Oh my god, no! Never saw the true inside workings of Percy and Annabeth's minds. Now I'm hurt, and I need another book from Percy and Annabeth's perspective as well. Because I need that now, because they didn't have a voice in this book. So I feel like Piper was a heavy narrator in this book, which I liked, because Piper I thought was great. She is just powerful. And then Leo, there wasn't that many chapters. I feel like there wasn't any chapters. Just so many perspectives, and it was like Nico and Raina. I don't feel like Jason didn't have. I feel like Jason had like very few chapters compared to Piper and Leo. And Nico and Raina, they were the big narrators. I'd say Jason's kind of a minor narrator in this one. But oh, the perspectives changes were so painful, especially the cliffhanger one. That wasn't fair. I mean, all the other ones seemed to end on like relatively calm, but that one was just cruel. And then when they go back to Nico and Raina, and then Raina's like, "Oh, it's been 3 days, Nico. You've been sleeping for 3 days." And it's like, 3 days? You don't have very long, and you were sleeping for 3 days. Nico, you can't sleep for 3 days, but he did, because he was shattered, because he was shadow traveling across half the world, which was impressive. Well done, Nico. And Raina finally revealed her power. She has like a gift from Bologna, and it's like sharing strength, courage. I'm like, oh, that's such a good power. She is so suited for being Praetor. And I understand. She's just so cool now. I just think Raina is just so much cooler in my eyes. I know most people were on her, unlike that. They were on that ship. Well, on that train. The Raina train. I just hopped on a bit late, but I appreciate Raina now as a character much more. I feel like I should stop talking now, but because it's just been a babble of thoughts. But I mean, what else is there to say? It's just so good, like 195,000% out of 100. It is such a good conclusion, but it's not a conclusion. I just think there's gonna be more. There has to be more. And oh, this is Blood of Olympus. Okay, I was gonna finish, but the Blood of Olympus. How the blood was bloody spilled? Okay, Percy had a nosebleed. His nose was bleeding, and a single drop fell down his face, and it was all kind of like a, oh, you silly ghost, Percy, letting your nose bleed, and then, because I mean, Annabeth had a scratch in her back that was bleeding, so I was like, okay, Annabeth, forgive you. Percy had a nosebleed, and that was it, and I was like, oh no, that's not good, is it? And it wasn't good, because Gaia woke up and then she got vaporized and Leo died, and everything happened, and that was just like sad. Non-cohesive babble of thoughts this. But overall thoughts. The story isn't over. There has to be more. Magnus is Annabeth's cousin. Piper is a vamp. Jason improved drastically. Percival will be together forever. Nico has finally found someone that appreciates him. Kind of. We hope they appreciate each other. Leo is dead to everyone in the book apart from us and Calypso. That's not good, is it? And Rick Riordan likes to kill my emotions. Yeah, that's a summative. 8 points. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Goodbye. Just one more look at the book.